And the first thing that came out of my mouth was, heaven is real. And I started bawling my eyes out, like literally, like couldn't control it. And she was like trying to stop me from crying because I was moving my stomach and I was like, my stomach was in a lot of pain. So she's like, no, 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 don't breathe. They don't like, you want to take it easy and stuff like that. I was like, okay, like I'm just like, but I let it out, but I was like holding my stomach so I wouldn't like convulse and stuff like that, but I could not like contain it. It was like the beauty, the awe, the oh my God, like how beautiful was this? Hey everyone. So, I just came back from the hospital this past weekend and I had I had my gallbladder removed and I went into surgery and I had what I'd like to call either a near-death experience or an out-of-body experience because technically I didn't die, but it did feel like it. And I got to see heaven. So, let's talk about it today. So, I want to tell you the story that led up to this. So, um, the week prior, I was having a lot of pain in my stomach. But I just thought, it was indigestion, IBS. I have some issues with that. And I just kind of dismissed it. I said, oh, okay, like this is just normal. I usually have these pains. But they started becoming pretty persistent. And it was a lot of heartburn. It was a lot of like acid reflux. It was a lot of like things that aren't normal for my symptoms. Like I don't usually get those aspects of it. So I was like, what is going on? So I was trying to like take a bunch of different things like Pepto and all that kind of stuff to soothe it. And like nothing was soothing it. So then comes Thanksgiving and I'm feeling a lot of pressure to just be able to be okay and to go. And I really didn't want to disappoint people. So um, I ended up I ended up going to the Thanksgiving, even though I woke up that morning in excruciating pain. And I would say if it was real, if it was like, maybe it wasn't excruciating, maybe it was like a six. So I think that was why I like tolerated it because it was like, I think some of these pains were only like a low grade. They weren't like completely like I can't handle it because I definitely would have like not gone if that were the case. But yeah, I couldn't fall back asleep. I had only gotten like 4 hours of sleep and I didn't know what was going on. So I'm debating, do I go, do I not go? Um, I feel like I've had a lot of digestive issues and stuff in the past that have kept me from going places. So I just was like, you know what? I don't want it to hold me back anymore. I'm gonna go. So I went and I actually felt okay. I was feeling pretty good for the most part. And then uh then we ate Thanksgiving dinner and then my stomach just started feeling really off. I started feeling the acid reflux, the heartburn, the nausea, the indigestion, all of it. And I was just like, oh man, like, this sucks. And I'm kind of just like masking it like I usually do, pretending that I'm okay. And then we have the car ride home, and it was like an hour and a half drive home with all the bumps and stuff. And that's when it really started like getting bad. So I was like, okay, let's get home. I'll be fine. I'll just like get home. I'll take something and like be able to fall asleep and it'll be good. Well, I couldn't fall asleep at all that night. And I was tossing and turning and just like trying to get comfortable. And like I literally tried everything. I put a heat compress on my and that actually was the last thing I tried because that actually worked. But I was like taking antacids, taking Pepto, taking like all these different supplements, herbal teas, all these things, like nothing was working. And I just felt like horrible. And then it started getting worse. And it was kind of at that point that I realized that this was turning into an emergency situation. So I'm like, you know what? I'm up, like I'm usually not a morning person, so it's unusual for me to be up in the morning, but I couldn't sleep all night, so I was up and I looked at when because I had just gotten new insurance, I wanted to go to the urgent care and I looked into um what time they opened and we went right there right when they opened and found these they examined me and the guy basically pushed at different parts of my stomach and he said, "Does that hurt?" I'm like, "A little bit, not bad." "Does this hurt?" "A little bit." "Does this hurt?" And then he pushed right where my gallbladder was and I literally leapt up off the bed and that was when I knew I was like, there's something wrong. Like, this is not good. So he had us go to the ER and we went to the ER and basically done a ton of different testing on me. I had an ultrasound on my stomach, and I was given a little bit of pain meds and stuff to soothe some of the pain away. And then like they came back with the results, and when the team kind of and they kept coming back in for more imaging, and I was like, this is not good. So the team showed up, and I was like, what's going on? And they come in and they say, you have like 6 gallstones in your gallbladder, and here are your options. Basically, you can do nothing and go home and feel incredibly in pain and probably come back to the ER. You can do surgery because we're like, and basically where we're going to remove the entire gallbladder because we can't really do anything for the gallstones. They won't dissolve on their own and stuff. And I said, I don't know, like I'd never done surgery and like I was like really hesitant. I was scared and like I just felt like I wasn't prepared like to make a decision like that. So I went to I ended up staying overnight at the hospital and then and I actually met some really great nurses. So that's like a whole part of the story is that some of these nurses were the most incredible people that I've met, and they helped me through some of my darkest times, and I will like never forget them. And I honestly really related to them because a lot of them were my age, so we got along really well, and we were talkative and like just through the tough like moments and stuff, they like really guided me. And like when I was crying and like really upset about everything going on and like, what was happening to me, like they just sat there, they listened, they let me cry, they let me talk, they let me like, handle situations and like helped me calm me down about like the medical bills and all that stuff that's coming in, which I was still a little bit freaked out about, but I'm not gonna think about that right now because that's not what this video is about. So yeah, so I stayed there, I stayed at the hospital and I really liked that the lady who was there at night. She was so sweet and she ended up really helping me like feel comfortable there and feel like I could like be there and stuff like that, even though they like, you're sleeping and they come in at all hours of the night and poke and prod you and it's just like insane. So basically I got like a couple hours of sleep and next thing I know, I'm being woken at 4:30 in the morning to somebody poking me with a needle. And it's just like, it's so frustrating when you're there. And then like the next day they're like, do you want to do the surgery? And like this is what will happen and how, like how do you feel about it? How does this like and I'm just like, I don't know. Like I just feel like I'm not ready. Like and I was like pros, cons, like talking to all these people to like getting opinions from like holistic healing and getting opinions from Western medicine and getting like so many different like people chiming in and like I had it and this happened and this happened and it was just so hard to like make that decision. So I really didn't want to make that decision that day either. So they said I couldn't be released because I was still in so much pain. So they were like, well, technically we can't hold you against your will, but like you'll probably be back here. So I was like, okay, I'll stay another night. So I stayed and I had unfortunately an awful nurse. She was not very kind and she was very old school with the rules and everything. And so she just kind of like, was it was just not a pleasant experience, let's just put it that way. So, but I was like determined. I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. So I decided next day, like because I had gotten food in me the prior day. So they wanted to monitor like how the food, and every time I ate, it was like the pain would radiate again, the heartburn, the nausea, the like, it was just so persistent and it was so crazy. So I realized that, and from talking to a lot of the people, talking to the nurses there, talking to like the doctors who had seen it, that my gallbladder was too far gone because had I done this earlier, had I known that it was pretty bad, I could have healed it on my own. And I really would have preferred that. I would have preferred doing natural, like doing complete elimination diet, all that kind of stuff, and being able to just like really stick with it and stick with it so that I wouldn't be like sick and all that kind of stuff. So I had wanted to do that, but at this point, I really realized that the choice had been made for me. It wasn't even really a choice anymore. I had to do it because otherwise I'd go back home, try to heal, but I would be in so much pain that I couldn't. So I decided that I was going to get the surgery. So come surgery day. So this is what I really wanted to talk about. So I'm I'm getting prepped for surgery and I'm nervous and everything and my parents come in the room and they're just like talking to me and like calming me down and I'm kind of like nervous and everything but I think they've like pumped me through for enough like with enough IV and drugs and stuff like that that I'm kind of still like a little bit out of it so not as out of it as I will be with the anesthesia, but we'll get to that. But I felt like I don't know, pretty confident in my decision that I was just like, all right, this is happening. I guess I have to surrender to the universe and just like let it happen. So, and I had asked the night before, I said, you know what? Wouldn't it be really cool if I could get a cool experience like with this, like if it could be like an out of body or like a near death experience. Like I literally like because I know that that happens like for people, and I was like, I don't want anything to happen. Like literally, like the surgery will go well and everything, but I want something cool to happen. Little did I know that my aunt in Utah was also praying that I would actually get a dream, have a dream about heaven. So wait till you hear what happened. So, um, I'm in the room where they prep you for the surgery, and then my parents are still in the room with me, and they're kind of waiting next to me and stuff like that, like, being there like for me while I'm, like, gonna get wheeled away and stuff like that to the surgery. So basically, I get the like they, talk to me about all this stuff, like give me all the spiel and everything. And then finally it's the like, okay, this is the thing, we're gonna put it in. And I'm like, oh geez, like I don't know how this is gonna like what is gonna happen. And they put it in and I was like, I'm not really feeling anything. And then all of a sudden, they're like wheeling me there, and everything starts getting blurrier and blurrier, and like everything's kind of like fuzzy and hazy. And then all of a sudden, I look up, and this is funny because I said, oh my God, like, I thought it was a UFO. It's the light from the surgery, like from the operation room. Because I talked to the nurses after, and they're like, no, that's the light from but it was a UFO, okay? Um, so so yeah, I look up and there's like this giant thing like and that's the last thing I remember. So then I wake up and I was in with the anesthesiologist first because they like want to monitor me before they like bring me to see my parents and everything. So they bring me she brings me, back and whatever, and is like talking to me, hey, how are you doing? And the first thing that came out of my mouth was, heaven is real. And I started bawling my eyes out, like literally, like couldn't control it. And she was like trying to stop me from crying because I was moving my stomach and I was like, the stomach was in a lot of pain. So she's like, no, 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 don't breathe. They don't like, you want to take it easy and stuff like that. I was like, okay, like I'm just like, but I let it out, but I was like holding my stomach so I wouldn't like convulse and stuff like that, but I could not like contain it. It was like the beauty, the awe, the oh my God, like how beautiful was this? And so she then I was like trying to convince this lady. I was like, no, heaven is real. Like there's a movie. Like go see the like there's literally a movie called Heaven is Real. And do you see that what dreams may come? Like it's so good. And I was like trying to describe it to her and I was real I mean, I'm sure I was so out of it. I was like in and out of consciousness and stuff like that. But I do like that's the first thing I remember saying. And then um, when I got back up to the room, my parents were there, and I remember telling her when I was down in the room, like because she was like, "Okay, honey, you saw Jesus, cool." Like, but I was like, "No, it was real," and she didn't believe me, and I was like, "If my mom was here, if my parents were here, they would get it." And it was so cool because I was like, she's like, we'll see them soon. You'll see them soon. And so they wheeled me up to the room. So funny because like my parents are like, you asked where like when are you going back to the room? I didn't even know where I was. Like I was like I'm in the operating room and then I'm like in the waiting room. I don't even remember that. And then I like went up to the room somehow and I don't remember how I got there. And I asked like when I'm going back to the room. It's wild like what this stuff does to you. But anyway, so I'm kind of like, still loopy and everything. And like my mom told me this little snippet of like something and I didn't know. She's like, yeah, and when they were like trying to move you like onto the bed and stuff like that, you come over to me, you whisper, I saw stuff. I'm like, yeah. Oh my God, it's so funny because I'm like, yeah, I did. I saw stuff, but I probably like scared her 'cause she's like, "What stuff? Like, what did you see?" But I told her later because there were people around and stuff like that, and I want to be like, telling all this stuff. But I was like, I saw stuff. I need to tell you. That was the thinking, but she told me that, and I was like, that sounds about right. And then I was kind of slowly coming around, and then I was like, I was in heaven, and I like realized that I was like, oh my God. And then like I remembered this field of wildflowers, and there was like just mountains and like rolling like mountains and stuff of these wildflowers, and it was just like the most beautiful colors. And I saw Jesus like walking at the end of the meadow, like towards me. And I don't remember him like coming up to me and like saying anything, but I just remember his presence. Like it was just like, okay, that's Jesus. Like, wow, like that's cool. I'm not like I'm not Christian like religion, but like I feel connected to Jesus. Like I think that he's pretty cool. Like I don't know, just as I think a I think he was telling us that we can transcend the reality that we're in. Like we can walk on water if we want to. Like that's what he was really like telling us, but by his messages. That's what I believe. But you believe what you want to believe. And I felt like I know that I saw my loved ones. Like my uncle had just passed in February, and it was a really kind of um it was really sudden, and we didn't have time to say goodbye or anything, and it would just like all happen like all at once. So I think that by me being able to see him, like it was really confirmation for me that it was like, oh, like he's okay, like he's with my aunt, like my aunt and uncle are there, and like my grandparents from both sides, and it was mostly like family. Like it was just like it wasn't like all the people that I know that have passed. It was just like the immediate like family that I wanted to see. And then I remember either hearing or like feeling the presence of my angels. And I think this is so common with every near-death experience or out-of-body experience is that you're always told that you're here for a reason and that you have a purpose and that you need to come back and do this purpose. Like, this is what you're here for. And they like very clearly told me, like, you're ready. Like, and it was an excited ready. Like, it was like oh my gosh, you're ready. We're so excited for you. Like, we're so excited that you're ready and like, you're gonna do great. And I just like I feel like that's a little bit of pressure too. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll figure it out. But like I feel like I'm getting intuitions, like I'm already starting to feel like I know how this is gonna land. Like it's got to do with my business. Like I'm gonna really like like expand like beyond belief like my business and stuff in the next year, and I feel it. And I think it's also like just um there's going to be a health component to it because of the health scares that I've had. I think there's going to be some combination, like basically bridging the gap between the Western and the holistic to be able to like actually meet both ends and stuff. And like I just feel like there's going to be so many cool things that come out of this experience that I had. And like the angels telling me like you like and they literally told me like remember who you are. And I always joke because that's from The Lion King and I love that. I love that scene. But I think that's exactly what they needed to tell me because like it was a no, like remember that little indigo child like that you were, that little kid that came in that would talk to grown-ups, that knew things that other people didn't know. And I just have forgotten that part of myself. And I've been an adult that feels like I'm not living up to my purpose. So I feel like I'm not that person anymore. I'm not that kid, but I am. And like, I feel like I'm like coming back to myself. And like, don't get me wrong, like it's going to be challenging and stuff too. But one of the things from the other side was that I literally had no fear. Like that was like one of the big takeaways too, is like you're going to go back and you're just going to be like fearless. And I'm not saying I'll never have a fear again in my life. Of course I will. But I feel a lot of my anxiety has lessened. I just feel so much more present and I just feel like I am just ready to do what I like came here to do. And I know that there's gonna be, anxieties and things that may come up along the way, and I'm gonna have to navigate that. But I think then I'll always be able to recall and reflect on this experience and remember, no, the angels told me like they know, and there's no fear there. So there is nothing to fear. And so I really feel like that's really what happened to me. And it's just it's amazing and it's so incredible. And it's also hard. It's difficult because I was watching some other NDEs and a lot of them have very similar messages, and a lot of them say, I did not want to come back to my body. And I never had a feeling like a fear that I was dying. Like I don't remember that. There was no fear. Like there was no like, oh my God, I died and now I'm in heaven. It was like I'm visiting heaven. Like I get a glimpse of like that was cool too because I was like, oh no, this is not temporary. Like this is temporary, but I get to see it. That's cool. Um and so like I never actually like coded or died. Like it was completely like the surgery went well. And but my experience was just so blissful and just amazing. And I, I know that it happened and like it was real and it wasn't a dream. Like it happened to me. And I think anyone that's had an NDE like will say probably the same thing. That's like you just had this knowing like no, that was real. Like that wasn't a dream. That wasn't that was real. And it just like I'm so amazed. And I think I knew what I was like when I said I would come back and do what I needed to do. I knew that I'd have to give up a lot because I think the dietary restrictions are really it's really hard because right now I'm on a very, very restricted diet and I can't go out to eat. I can't like travel. I can't like there's a lot I can't have, like a lot. I can't have like, any sea doors, any like this, any like I won't be able to like get Starbucks anymore. I can't have any of my like sugar. Like I basically have to cut out sugar of my life. And it's just a lot. It's a lot, but I feel like after having to go through that in the hospital and like being told when I went what I could eat and what I couldn't eat, it just made me like realize that yeah, like I can do this, it's okay, I can do this. And it's not doesn't mean that all of these extreme changes have to be forever. And that's what I keep reminding myself is like, okay, well, I have to give up some of my diet for now in order to heal. And I don't want to slip into my old ways. I'm not going back to where I was because that's what got me into this situation in the first place. I'm definitely going to do some deep diving in some holistic areas. I'm talking with both my doctor, my Western medicine doctor, and my naturopath doctor. I'm going to kind of combine some stuff, make sure that both are okay for each other, and kind of go from there. And I'm really hoping that I've talked to so many people that are stunned how well I'm doing because they say it is so painful the next couple days and stuff after the surgery. And I just really I don't know. Like it hurt, but I kind of pushed through it the first day. And I even like went out for a walk because I just like had been in the hospital for so long that I just needed to get out. And I think that's what really helped me start to heal because I was like not babying myself. I was like, no, we are not gonna do too strenuous. I'm not doing yoga. I'm not doing exercise, any type of thing like that. We'll see when I can get back to that. But just even going about the house, doing things, getting up and like moving. And I know a lot of people can't do that because they had so much pain. And like everyone has a different experience, but like this has been mine so far. And knock on wood, I'm hoping it lasts like that. I'm having some side effects and stuff, but pretty minimal. And I just hope that, eventually some of those side effects, which are, related to digestive issues and stuff that I already had, that I'm just worried that are going to get worse. So I'm hopeful that I can heal that and be able to like heal that part of me so that I can basically like um be able to live my life and not be afraid, because for the first time in my life, I feel like I don't have those fears, those deep fears like that I had holding me back in life. And like, I want to do all these things. I'm like, oh my God, I lack the fear. So I want to do all these things. And yet I'm giving myself a little bit of patience because I'm like, okay, it's not time yet. But I feel like once I really feel like, more like myself and I'm able to like maybe eat a little bit more better foods and things that are like found in restaurants and things like that, I am going to try out a restaurant that caters to food intolerances that is in my area. They will very customize things. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I think I'm gonna try, not right away, but I think I want to try them first because they are like 100% the first best option that I have, I think. So, and I can't get dessert there, which sucks, but I would be able to go out to eat and that would be enough. So I think that that would be, something that would be good. Um, I know it's going to get frustrating. I am already frustrated. I've been using ChatGPT to try to figure out some of the food issues and some of the like what I can and can't eat. But honestly, my biggest takeaway though is that heaven is real, and whether you want to believe that or not, it doesn't matter to me. I just telling you what I saw. Like I saw it and it is beautiful, and like your loved ones are safe. They're happy. It was amazing. I saw my aunt and uncle and just my grandparents, and I just knew like that they were helping me through this really difficult time, and I feel like so many people have been carrying me through this that, I think one of the other aspects of it is just the grieving, the losing. Like my stomach looks very cut up right now, and it's never going to be the same again. And it's sad. And I've grieved that a little bit. And I don't really like looking at my stomach anymore. And I know it won't be this bad forever, but it's really hard to face that. And I think just feel like, I'm gonna be human again. I'm gonna be able to like, go swimming in the summer, and um I don't know, I don't think I'm gonna wear a two-piece, but I never felt comfortable with that anyway, so I'm getting to that age where I'm just like it's fine. I actually do have a two-piece that's like longer, so I'll probably end up wearing that, and or maybe like getting some other ones like that as well. So yeah, I I am not the same person. And I wanted to come on here on my coaching channel and just tell everyone my story and tell everyone what happened, because there's going to be some big changes in the future, and I really want to like hit the ground running in the new year, and even before the new year. I feel motivated even now. That's why I'm even making this video. I just really already feel like I'm motivated, and I want to talk about this, and I want to share my story, and I want to share like all the details that I can and I can remember, and like keep coming up with like more details and stuff like that. The fact that my aunt had wished that I would dream about heaven. She prayed that I would dream about heaven. Just blows my mind because how did she know that? Like that was crazy, you know? And I really feel like, just I feel so humbled by like all the people that have reached out to me that have were friends from, a long time ago and I haven't kept in touch and it's just I used to think that I was, alone and I really have so many people that love me and we all do. And if you ever feel like, lost and everything, like just really remember that we are like we're watched over. Like we have our team, we have God, we have the angels that are watching over us constantly and making sure that we are safe. And I was really watched over. I was watched over so well. And yeah. And I thank my parents too for helping me through this. Like I don't know if I would have gotten through it without them. And I just feel like it's just been such a whirlwind of everything. But yeah, I just feel I'm alive. I am so grateful just to be alive. And that perspective changes everything. I think once you kind of have that perspective of I could have died and I'm not, I'm alive, even though a part of me is like, that was such a beautiful place, but I wasn't ready to go. Like I was not ready. I didn't live my life enough. I haven't done the things that I want to do. And one of the videos that I was watching was saying, like, we don't know. Like we never know when it's our time. And don't waste a minute. Don't waste it. Because you never know when you're gonna get a second chance at life. And I want to take it. I want to help so many people. I want to shine my light. I want to give like back to the world and really thrive and be able to live just my life on my own terms. And some of it feels impossible right now because of the restrictions, like with the dietary thing. And I just know I'm going to navigate it. I'm going to figure it out and it's all going to be okay because after seeing that, I just like know anything's gonna be okay. Like everything's gonna be okay. And yeah, it was really amazing. Thank you guys so much for listening. Oh my gosh, I'm like, it was just an incredible experience. And I just want you all to know like it's real. Like heaven is real. And even if you don't believe that, that's okay. And I just want you to know that like you are loved and that whether you believe in a higher power or not, like God loves you. God loves you so much and he wants you to be doing what you love and living your purpose in life. And that's what we came here for. And that's what I'm gonna do. So all right, I know it's a tall ask because I know that there's going to be some like, some slipbacks, but I know that I am determined now to really go forward with this. So, all right. Thank you guys so much. Bye.